Have you ever felt something unusual from just one short response? Because that's what's making the ARMY go wild today. A sign of something? Face screaming in fear, Jungkook finally gives an emotional response after his departure. And more surprisingly, Taehyung looks different than usual. It all started with a moment at the airport that initially seemed normal. Jungkook stepped away as usual, surrounded by the crowd and the camera. However, there's a small detail that makes many people feel the atmosphere is not the same. Jungkook's gaze looked deeper, as if harboring something unspoken. Shortly after that departure, Jungkook sent a response that instantly left the ARMY speechless. His words were short, but full of emotion. Not just an ordinary message, but as an expression of the heart that has been held. Many fans felt this wasn't just a simple goodbye, there was a hidden meaning behind it. And this is where the part that makes the heart feel the most congested. Taehyung. Taehyung, who usually looks calm and warm, looks different this time. His expression was more gloomy, quieter. Some soldiers even said they rarely saw Taehyung like that, as if there was an emotional burden that he was keeping tightly. Is this just fatigue? Or is there something bigger going on between them? Fans began to speculate, because small changes like this are usually not without reason. Especially when Jungkook and Taehyung are known to have such a strong bond. Jungkook's response after that departure felt like a hint, like a signal that something was being prepared, or maybe something they were dealing with together. What made the atmosphere even more emotional was how ARMY felt different energies. Many wrote comments like, "Why does it feel like such a heavy breakup?" Or, "I feel like there's a story we don't know yet." And what makes it all feel even more piercing is, this isn't the first time the ARMY has caught little signs like this. But this time, it felt different. There is a deeper, quieter nuance, as if both are at an emotional point that cannot be explained in words. Some fans even noticed how Jungkook would usually try to smile or wave with his warm energy. This time, however, the movements were slower, more careful. Every step leaves something behind. Then a question arises that gives a lot of people goosebumps. Did Jungkook intentionally send that response to Taehyung? Because even though it is not directly mentioned, many feel that the words sound like a personal message. Such a gentle reminder. Like someone saying, "Wait a minute, I'll be back." Taehyung, who has always been known to be strong, looks like he is holding back his emotions this time. There is a glare that is difficult to explain. Not angry, not disappointed, but like someone who is missing something even before they actually split up. The ARMY began to wonder, are you having a hard time coming up with something big? Because if there are really big plans like a tour or a big project coming up, of course the emotional pressure is not small. Especially for two people who have always supported each other in silence. The most touching thing is how fans felt that this moment was not just an ordinary departure. This feels like a new chapter, like the beginning of something that would shake everyone's heart. And more theories are emerging. Some say this is a hint of an imminent big meeting. Some felt this was a sign that they were preparing something very emotional for the ARMY. There are even those who believe that Jungkook and Taehyung are harboring a surprise that they are not ready to reveal. But one thing cannot be denied. Their reactions this time felt too real to be taken for granted. Sometimes, the most powerful feelings do not arise through long words, but through small changes in expression. Passing a short response that feels like a hug from afar. And now, the ARMY can only wait. And precisely because everything feels so vague, the ARMY's curiosity becomes more and more. Why did Jungkook sound so emotional after that departure? Why does Taehyung seem to be missing a little light in his eyes? Many are beginning to realize that this moment may not just be about airports or regular travel. There's something deeper, something that can't be explained by schedules or cameras. Some fans even recalled how Jungkook and Taehyung always had a unique way of giving each other support. Sometimes through a small joke, sometimes through a brief look, and sometimes through a message that seems simple but full of meaning. And this time, Jungkook's response felt like it. Like a sentence written with a heavy heart. Like someone who wants to make sure that others are okay, even though she herself is struggling with the same feelings. Taehyung becomes the center of attention not because he is doing something big, but because he looks quiet.
too quiet.
There was something about his expression that made many of the army feel like hugging him from afar. A smile that usually appears easily, this time as restrained. It was as if he was thinking about something he couldn't share. And that's where the emotions of the fans exploded, because Jungkook and Taehyung's relationship isn't just about chemistry on stage. They are two people who grew up together on a long journey, going through stresses, dreams, laughter, and tears. So, when one of them looks different, the army knew right away. Someone said, "I feel like they're saving something." Another wrote, "This feels like the moment before something big happens." And the longer, the speculation turns into hope. What if this is indeed a sign? What if Jungkook's emotional response was a hint that they would soon be back together in something bigger than before? Or maybe this is their way of saying that despite the distance apart, the bond remains. Because sometimes separation is not the end, the beginning of something stronger. And this moment, even though it makes ARMY's heart feel tight, also makes many believe that something is being prepared. Something that will make the world turn its back on them. Something that will make Taehyung smile again. And maybe something that will make Jungkook finally say more, not just through a short response.